Hi, everyone. Had a question on a homework problem on chapter 11.1, problem number 19. And I figured rather than answer that one student's question, I will answer it for everyone. So let me share my screen. Okay. And this is, oops, I got to set something up here or it's going to drive me crazy. Monitor, move that. Come on, move that. And just the Mac screen. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is chapter 11.1, number 19. I'm going to change to a little thicker and to darker. Okay, so it says, I love it when they use P's and Q's. P equals natural log of q squared minus 1 over q. And remember, the derivative of ln u is 1 over u times u prime. Whatever this function is, it's 1 over that times the derivative of that. So when I go to do p prime here, well, it's going to be 1 over, here's u, so it's going to be 1 over that. I'm going to do this a couple of ways. Times the derivative of the goop inside, well, that's a quotient rule thing. High over ho. So that's going to be, let's see, ho d high. D high, derivative of the top is 2q, minus high. I don't enjoy this whiteboard as much as my other drawing thing, but I thought it would be easier. Times d ho, which is just 1, all over ho squared. And now this thing changes when you have a fraction in the denominator. I can rewrite that as I can flip it and just put it in the numerator here. So this thing is equivalent to this thing. And it's something you'll do a lot of, and we got to get used to that. Okay, so let me get rid of this dotted box. So it's that times, let's see, I can simplify some. I suspect mystery person who asked the question, the concern is, uh-oh, cat, with cat. The concern is the simplification here. So you may have done this, and I would say, good job. But let's simplify it. 2q squared minus, this will be a minus q squared, and that's going to be a minus times a minus is a plus 1 over q squared. And so that'll be q over q squared minus 1 times 2q minus 1q is 1q, so q squared plus 1 over q squared, and this will cancel one of those. So we'll have q squared plus 1 over q times q squared minus 1. Is that the right answer? Let's look at the back of the book and see. Yeah, I think that's it. Wait, let me check. That's what I've written down, but I don't know that I simplified it all the way. 11.1, oops, I'm in chapter 10. I do not want to be in chapter 10. Number 19, yeah, that's the right answer. But now, let's say, how do I erase all of this in this thing? See, this is what I don't like about this thing, is it doesn't have all the functions. Okay, my cat just laid on top of the drawing tablet. She can't lay there. There you go. Now she bit me. Okay, so now let me stop sharing and try it again. So now let's do it. Okay, you took my pen. There it is. Oh, it didn't go away. Dang it. Is there a way I can, okay, let me select all of this. Okay, there we go. Now we're talking. Now we're cooking with gas. Okay, so now let's do it a different way. If you remember the rules for logarithms, ln of a times b, I can write as ln a plus ln b. Now you might not remember these rules, and that's okay. Then you just do what we just did. Ln of a over b equals ln of a minus ln of b. So I can go and look at my function here. Ln of, what was it? Q squared minus 1 over Q. Well, first of all, I could do two things. I could write Q squared minus 1 over Q as Q squared minus 1 times Q to the minus 1. Maybe I don't want to do quotient rule. I want to do product rule. Well, you could do that. You're going to get a different answer. It's probably going to look different, and that's okay. You just need to be careful with negative signs, especially this negative sign is the problem. So let's do it that way. So I'm going to write this as natural log of Q squared minus 1. Oops. Let me start again. Q squared minus 1. That's a pretty ugly minus 1. There we go. Times Q to the minus 1. So then the derivative is going to be 1 over Q squared minus 1 times Q to the minus 1, which I see this and I know Q to the minus 1 in the denominator. I can move it up to the numerator and make it Q to the positive 1 later. Okay, so this is the derivative of that, of this natural log function. Now I need to do the derivative of the goop inside. So I'm going to do the product rule. So I'll take the derivative of the first, so that'd be 2Q times the second, Q to the minus 1, plus the first, Q squared minus 1, times the second. Derivative of that would be minus 1 times Q to the minus 2. So far, we're the same as what we did before, just looks ugly. So I'll write this as Q over Q squared minus 1. That looks like an 8. Times, so this is 2Q times Q to the minus 1. Well, this thing is 2Q over Q, right? These Q's are going to cancel, and this will just give us a 2. And then here, the minus sign, oops, will go out front. And I have Q squared minus 1 over Q squared. Okay? And I'm going to get common denominators here, so I'll multiply this one by Q squared over Q squared, so I can combine them inside the square brackets. So this will be Q over Q squared minus 1. Now I will say, and it will probably make you stop this video instantly, but a problem like this, I would say calculate the derivative and don't simplify. Oh, did everyone turn off? Oh, okay. One person is still there. Good. Okay. So this is 2Q squared. I'm going to put it all under one denominator, which is going to be Q squared is the common denominator. Oops. Squared. So this Q squared will become negative. But this negative, because we're going to distribute, I hate negative signs, that's going to be a plus 1. So I still have Q over Q squared minus 1 times, let's see, plus 2 minus 1, so that's Q squared plus 1 all over Q squared. One of these will cancel that one, and we're left with q squared plus 1 over, there's a q still left in the bottom, q squared minus 1. Look at that. Same answer. What? That was fun. Okay, let me do it one more way. Whoops. Did I get it? Yeah, there we go. Let me make this a little bigger. Probably, come on. There we go. Probably doesn't make a difference for you, but it does for me. Okay, and I'll move this dude. Come on. There we go. Okay, the last way I'm going to do it is, oops, got to turn on my pen. Thank you, Mr. Pen. Okay, so P equals q squared minus 1. Oops, wrong. Oh, it was right. Right. Thinking I was wrong. That's ridiculous. Oh, natural log of all of this. Okay. So before I do the derivative, I'm going to rewrite this as natural log of q squared minus 1 minus natural log of q. I'm going to apply one of those rules of logarithms. Now I'm going to differentiate this. So this will be 1 over q squared minus 1 times the derivative of the goop. We got to do the chain rule, so that'll be 2q minus derivative of ln of q is just 1 over q. And so we end up with 2q over q squared minus 1. And if we wanted to simplify, which I would say we would not have to, but if we wanted to, because it would be fun, the common denominator is going to be 1 over q times q squared minus 1. So I'll multiply this one by q over q and this one by q squared minus 1 over q squared minus 1. So that's going to give us a 2q squared here. Minus this thing. Hope this is looking familiar. Over q times q squared minus 1. That's an ugly q. So let's see, I'll distribute the minus sign. This will become negative. 2q minus 1q is 1q squared, and minus times minus will make that guy positive. Ta-da, same thing. So the lesson here is whenever we have to do a rule like this, a quotient rule or something, most likely I'm going to say do the derivative, don't simplify. I'm going to check your work and see if you got the differentiation correct. Okay? So there you go. I hope that helps with this question. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Bye.